I do a little ritual whenever I listen to a record. It's pretty simple. All I do is think. Not for very long, because I want what follows to guide me. But I love to let my mind wander right before I drop the needle. I love to anticipate what is about to happen every time I hear that little fuzzy connection between the needle and the vinyl. That, I believe, is where the magic starts. Then it's on. I'm alone with the music, and I let the music inform me as to what to feel, hear, and see what is in front of my mind's eye. Then the magic takes over. Even if I don't like what I hear, I try my hardest to allow the music its room that it so rightly deserves. I know an album is great when my mind stays quiet, when I have nothing to say. Generally, a smile will cross my face and my eyes involuntarily stay shut, and I just jam. This doesn't happen very often. Even if I'm digging the hell out of something, usually I'll make a note to myself when I hear something stand out, good or bad. But when I forget to think, when I feel the music, when absolutely everything seems to be in its right place, I know I'm listening to something special. This is really reserved for things that I end up holding dear. The likes of Pink Floyd, Tool, Clutch, Black Sabbath, and many others live in that special place. Generally, an album does not leave an immediate impression on me. Instead, it demands multiple replays before I can listen to it critically. Then comes along a group of musicians living right down the way. To me, a local act. Just some blokes I could go see on any Friday night for $5. But they're not just that. No, they're something much, much more. Perhaps I'm biased, but I really don't think this is the case. Rainbows Are Free have released two of the best records that I currently own in my collection. Their first was a bold statement that screamed, "Do not dismiss this. Nay, bask in the glory of the rock and roll that we provide." It reveled in its mastery of the dark and heavy blues rock. It leapt from the expected genre tropes of its genre to soaring reworkings and explorations of the same. It was magnificent. Quick, go back to my third episode and listen to my review of that one. Then comes along their sophomore effort, Waves Ahead of the Ocean. No, wait, that's an understatement. Then, summoned by the gods themselves, Waves Ahead of the Ocean appeared to the enlightened ones, the true believers, once again reminding us that rock and roll needs no forthcoming messiah, for they are already among us. Today, there are not too many classic heavy hard rock and roll bands out there. There are great ones, but not many with the straight-ahead gospel that is blues-style heavy rock and roll made imperative by the great Black Sabbath. Rainbows Are Free are righteously and truly at the forefront of those keeping rock and roll alive. Waves Ahead of the Ocean draws a line in the sand. It delivers on the promise of their first record, but improves the formula exponentially. It starts quietly with a killer bass-heavy overture, then builds quickly to a sonic assault of wailing leads and a doom-laden rhythm that then triumphantly crescendos to a crunchy up-tempo sprint of heavy awesomeness. The vocals at once sound new and confident and at ease with the Earl Garden of drudging the guitars, bass, and drums, and even some background synths create. This all happens in literally under 45 seconds. And then it's off to the races, the real races. The first song, which has, in my opinion, one of the coolest titles ever, that is Speed God and the Rise of the Motherfuckers from a Place Beyond Hell, gives the listener a glimpse of what's to come. It's fast and mean, but remembers to slow down to let you catch your breath. Yet, in these slower moments, they remember to keep the groove alive, almost as if they're allowing the rock to marinate a bit before assaulting your ears. Now, see, this review is already going really long, so I won't talk about every song because, well, honestly, they'd be here for hours. But I do want to recognize a couple of my favorites. Those are obviously the first song, Space God, then also Sonic Demon, Burn and Die, and actually, quite like their first album, the title track is my pick for the best in show. This record is tight. The band is obviously close. They obviously trust each other. Waves sounds effortless. Now, I don't want to knock other bands, but I feel I must make a comparison here. You see, I love the band Red Fang. I've got all their records, and they're awesome. But each of their records have moments where they feel as if they are merely going through the motions, hitting the expected genre beats, then moving on to things that are more interesting to them. Waves Ahead of the Ocean has no such moments. Instead, the record is confident. It feels almost as if it has an agenda. Every member of the band is firing on all cylinders. Again, the vocals are more consistent this time. The guitars have more balls, and my God, the rhythm section is out of this world. This album, unfortunately, will give you a headache, but it's only from all the banging it will do. And mark my words, if you don't, you weren't really listening. Waves has all of what made its predecessors great. The album artwork, the aggressiveness, and of course the rock. But it does all in a much more cohesive and just perfect manner. Earlier I said I know an album is great when it doesn't leave an immediate impression on me. Believers in Medicine, their first record, did. It was a good one, and it simply was, wow, we really can make true great rock and roll in this state. Waves Ahead of the Ocean, however, went one step forward. I had nothing to say after the first listen, or the 10th for that matter. I still don't really know what to say, other than you must listen to this record.